Well, guys, welcome back to a brand new album review. Today we are covering another Stray Kids album. On Stray Kids Week, we are currently doing Go Live, or Go Live, I'm assuming it's Go Live. Another full-length album from Stray Kids to go through. Let's not beat around the bush, let's go straight into it with the first track, Go Live. Okay, so that is Go Live. I just noticed the top bit is once again not working, so let me fix that while I talk about the song. Interesting. I mean, that's all I can say. It was so short, 1 minute 50. Interesting instrumental to it. It was so short that you didn't really get a chance to actually hear anything from Stray Kids themselves. I thought it was okay. I thought they did fine, perfectly fine on the first track. Perfectly good introduction. 6 out of 10. Next track is God's Menu. Hopefully this is now more of like a full track, so hopefully this is pretty good. This has got a lot of plays in it, by the way. God's Menu. 260 million. Okay, and that was God's Menu. That was good. That was good. Quite high, really good dance track there. Everyone did a pretty good job on the track as well. Really nice, actually. I feel like I've heard that song before. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as that last time, possibly. But that was decent. I thought everyone did an okay job. I'm not saying it's something that, oh yeah, I could listen to that on repeat constantly, but, you know, it was a fine track. I think that was a 7, not 6. It was meant to be a 7. Next up is Easy. Okay, that was Easy. Interesting. Again, I think the instrumental on that one was really interesting as well. The kind of dripping water sound effect they used was pretty good, actually. I quite like that. It made it sound a bit more unique compared to some of the other tracks they've done before. I think that was a solid 6. I think this has been a pretty good start to the album so far. Next up is Pacemaker. If I can type the word, that'd be good. Okay, that's Pacemaker. That was another really, really solid track. Really solid track there. In fact, that was really solid. Probably my favourite on the album so far. Yeah, really interesting beat to it. Vocally killed it on all of them there. That was really, really solid. I think that's an 8. I think that's an 8. I think Pacemaker was genuinely such a good track. That was such a good track. Next up is Aeroplane. Not was, is Aeroplane. Okay, and that was Aeroplane. And oh my god, okay, this might be my favourite Stray Kids album. This is killing it. They're killing it. This is absolutely fantastic. This track, okay, I thought Pacemaker was good. That track, 9 out of 10. Absolutely near perfect. What a track. Vocally, on the money with that one. They had the track down really poppy and nice to that one as well. Proper going, perfectly blended well together, the vocals and the instrumental there. Absolutely fantastic. Airplane. Fantastic track. Next up is Another Day. Okay, that was Another Day. That's disappointing. I mean, it was you expected as soon as the guitar started playing at the start, I kind of had the feeling, uh-oh, here it comes, the slow track I was kind of worried was going to show up on this album. Yeah, it was boring, as usual. Although, not as bad as some of the tracks on Replay. Granted. I mean, it kind of does feel a bit unique in this album, because this album has been a bit more poppy and upbeat, so it's not been anywhere near as kind of like soul destroying to listen to. So it was fine. It's okay. It's still a 5, but it's not anything that bad really. Next up is Phobia. Okay, and that was Phobia. Phobia, a song of two halves. Song of two halves there. I thought the opening part of the track, I was quite happy with the track so far. I was getting into it, pretty boppy, but something about it just kind of dragged on a little bit. I kind of lost interest. Maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe the instrumental just wasn't that good, I don't think, on the track. I feel like the vocals definitely overshined it considerably, which is unfortunate. So my enjoyment kind of dropped from like a 7 to a 6 over time, but it's still a decent track. Still a pretty good track there. Next up is Blueprint. Okay, that was Blueprint. Blueprint, Yeah, a bit boring compared to the previous other kind of poppy tracks on this album. It was still okay. I think vocally it was good. I felt like they kind of did their thing as they've done on the rest of the album so far. It's just I don't know, it just didn't really stand out compared to like God's Menu and Pacemaker and Airplane. Just kind of felt a bit blander, not as interesting. I think that's pretty a 6 really. Yeah, it's still a good track. Still a good track, just overshadowed by some of the other ones on here. Next up is TA. Okay, that was TA. Same kind of feelings as the previous track, Blueprint. Kind of good, good. There, I think the instrumental was slightly better, but kind of let down. I think really Stray Kids didn't perform anywhere near as good on that track as any of the other ones so far. I felt like that was by far their worst performance so far. Just completely bland and soulless, almost. 5 out of 10 for TA. Next up is the track Haven. Please give us something good near the end as well. Okay, and that was Haven. We've had a couple tracks in a row. Similar problem where it just feels a little bit like they kind of run out of ideas after the first half of the album, and they're kind of just filling in numbers. I don't know. It just feels a little bit kind of rushed and not much thought went into them. I don't know. It's not as bad. It's not as like as mediocre as TA. I think it's a bit higher. I think it's probably still a 6 out of 10. It's just kind of a bit blanded. It's not like I'm not getting up like, oh, I need to, oh, what a bop this is. There's nothing like that. And vocally, it's not like amazing that knocking like blow my socks off or anything. Like it's just it's fine, perfectly acceptable, and that's unfortunate that it's kind of devolved into that here. Next up is Top, which is the Tower of God opening. I'm just going to put Top there. Okay, that was Top. Right, I recognise that track from All In, the Japanese version. I like it a little bit more than that one for some reason. I don't know, it was a little bit more enjoyable, but even then, still, like, but for such a over the top kind of like instrumental, just a bit boring. I don't know how they managed to do that. I think it's a 6, but yeah, nothing crazy there. Nothing crazy. Next up is Slump, which is the ending to Tower of God. Okay, and that was Slump. Yeah, I remember that one as well. I remember that one from All In, and similar opinion I think that I had back then was this song was boring because it was very boring. It was just a slight tad bit too slow. The singing was weird and strained as well. It just didn't sound nice to listen to. Yeah, that's a 5 out of 10. Slump there, not great, not great. Next up is Mixtape Gone Days. We'll just put an equals there. Don't want to do that. Mixtape Gone Days. We're last 2 tracks now as well. Okay, Mixtape Gone Days. That was a banger at the end of the album. That's a fantastic track. That's more like it. That was fantastic. Vocally, instrumentally, really. It was quite a subtle, quite limited instrumental in the background, but it allowed their vocals to shine really well through that. They did fantastic on that track. That was so good. I think that's. Ooh, I'm gonna go 7, just about. It's almost an 8. It's almost an 8. Last but not least is Mixtape On Track. See if this finishes off with a banger. And that finishes off the album Mixtape On Track, and that is another great track. They certainly were on track with this album. Oh my god, that was just awesome track. Really good closer. 7 out of 10 again. Just fantastic closer to the album. Really had that vibe going for it. Great vocally. Quite a simple instrumental again, but I think kind of did help it in some ways. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the album. Thanks for watching, everyone. Overall, really solid album. Really, really fucking solid album. Happy to listen to that. Easily my favourite Stray Kids album that I've listened to. Just some bangers at the start and the end. Really, really solid. Nothing really that was actually that bad at all on it. At worst, there was just bland tracks. But some of Stray Kids' best tracks I think I've ever listened to is on this album. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next one. Goodbye, everyone.